So we've seen how to use an inverse matrix to solve a matrix equation. And I'm sure you're wondering, how in the world do we come up with an inverse matrix? If we don't know, if we just have a matrix A, how can we find a matrix that is an inverse of A so that we can just use it and find solutions to our equations? So that's what we're going to talk about next. And it's kind of a process. All right. So here's how to do it. What we're going to do is we're going to take our matrix A that we want to find the inverse of, and we're going to augment the identity matrix of that same size. Okay. And then we're going to perform row operations. We're going to perform the same row operations that we did in Gauss-Jordan elimination. We're going to do row operations until we reduce this augmented matrix of A and the identity matrix to a matrix, another augmented matrix that has the identity matrix on the left, and this B matrix is the inverse. This is our A inverse. This becomes our inverse of A. All right, we're just going to perform row operations. So here we go. Let's see. Let's remind ourselves what the row operations are. We can interchange any two rows, right? We can interchange row I and row J. We can take a constant multiple of any row, or we can take any row and replace it with that row plus some constant multiple of another row. All right. Those are our 3 row operations. 1, 2, 3. Right? Those are our row operations. So keep those in mind. And now we get to play the game again. We get to play the Gauss-Jordan elimination game. All right, let's do this. So here's a matrix. We want to find the inverse of this matrix. The first thing we're going to do is just take that matrix, 2, 1, 1, 3, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and we're going to augment the identity matrix. So this is a 3 by 3 matrix, so we're going to augment the 3 by 3 identity matrix. So 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1. So the identity matrix just has 1s along the diagonal and 0s everywhere else. All right, so our goal is to get something that looks like has the identity matrix on the left and a new matrix here on the right. So we're just going to perform row operations to get there. All right, so I need a 1 in the upper left-hand corner. So I have to think about how I can get a 1 in that upper left-hand corner. Well, I see that row 1 and row 2 are only 1 apart. So if I take row 1 and I subtract row 2, I'll get a -1, and it's easy enough to then just multiply everything by -1 and then get a +1. So why don't I do that first? So I'm just going to take row 1 and I'm going to subtract row 2. So I'm going to get a -1, right? 2 minus 3 is a -1. 1 minus 2 is a -1. 1 minus 1 is 0. Okay, now I have to do that all the way across. So I'm going to 1 minus 0 is 1. 0 minus 1 is a -1. And then 0 minus 0 is 0. Okay, I'll draw my little bar down the middle. All right. So let's see. I can also, let's see. I need to, it would be nice to have some more 1s. I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to take row 2 and I'm going to subtract row 3 and I'll get another 1. So I'm just going to take row 2 minus row 3 at the same time. So 3 minus 2 is 1. 2 minus 1 is 1. 1 minus 2 is a -1. Then I'll have 0 minus 0 is 0. 1 minus 0 is 1. And then 0 minus 1 is a -1. Okay. All right. And then let's see. I'll just leave this last row alone. 2, 1, 2, 0, 0, 1. All right. So now I want, I want a 1 up here. I've got a -1. That's fine because I think I can use that right now. Um, so the next thing I'm going to do, I can see that I went 1 up here. I could take it times -1 now. Then I'm going to actually use the fact that it's negative because I can just then add. I can take row 2 and I can add row 1. Oops. I'm going to add row 1. And that'll get a 0 here in the second row, first column. All right. So let's do that. I'm just going to write that down here. So I'm going to leave row 1 alone. -1, -1, 0, 1, -1, 0. Got to do accurate copying. Okay. And then I'm just going to add these 2 rows. So this becomes a 0. -1 and 1, that becomes another 0. This is still -1. This becomes a 1. This becomes a 0, and that still stays -1, right? All right, so I'm thinking I could also take care of row 3 at the same time. So if I take row 3 and add 2 times row 1, then I can also take care of the third row at the same time. So let me just do my little fake multiplying here so that I don't get confused. So 2 times -1 is a -2. This becomes -2. This is still 0. This is a 2. This is a -2, and this is 0. Alrighty. Now, so we're going to just add those red numbers to the third row. So then I get 0, -1, and 2, and 2, and -2, and 1. All right, I'm getting there. So I see a lot of negatives here. I think what I can do is take. I'm just gonna change the sign of the first 2 rows. So I'm gonna take -1 times row 1, -1 times row 2. Okay. I'm kind of seeing I also want to probably swap rows here. I'm not gonna do it in this step though, but I've got row 2 looks like a good row 3. So if I move it around, I can get it in row 3. But I'm just gonna do one step at a time here so I don't get myself messed up. So this becomes 1, 1, 0, -1, 1, 0. Just changing the sign of everything across the first row. And then I'm going to change the sign of row 2 as well. So this is 0, 0, 1, -1, 0, 1. And then I'm leaving the third row alone. 2, -2, 1. Alrighty. Now, this is probably where I want to swap the rows around. I'm going to swap row 2 and row 3. Okay, I'm just going to swap those around. It'll just kind of a baby step. Gets me closer. All right. So I'm going to leave row 1 alone. So that's 1, 1, 0, -1, 1, 0. And so the row 3 becomes row 2. So that's 0, -1, 2, 2, -2, 1. And then finally, I'll just move row 2 down to row 3. So 0, 0, 1, and -1, 0, 1. Alrighty. Put my little bar down the middle. Okay, so I'm getting there. I got row 3 the way I want it. Now, I'm going to continue working on column 2. I'm going to actually use the -1 in the middle here to zero out that first row, second column. So I think what I'll do is just take row 1 and add row 2. That would be an easy thing to do. And then I'd have the second column pretty much taken care of. So this just becomes 1, 0, 2. Okay, and then I gotta add all the way along here. So this becomes 1, right? -2 plus, or -1 plus 2, and then I have 1 plus a -2, which is a -1, and then 0 plus 1 is 1. All right. Now I think I would rather have a positive one right in the middle here. So I think I'll just change the sign, take negative 1 times row 2. And then I'll get a positive one in the middle where I want it. So 0, 1, negative 2, negative 2, 2, 1, negative 1, right? Changing the sign of everything. Okay, make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, so 0, 0, 1, negative 1, 0, 1. All right, so I'm getting there. Now I just need to take care of the third column, and I'll be good. So how am I going to get there? Well, I can use the 1. I can use the 1 down in the lower right-hand corner to zero those out. So if I take row 1 and I subtract to row 3, that'll take care of the first row in third column. And then I can also take row 2 and I can add 2 times row 3. And that'll do it. And then I'll be done, I think, right? So, all right. So let's do that. So when I'm going to take row 1 and I'm going to subtract 2 times row 2. So let me just put some numbers here. So if I take this times negative 2, this becomes 0, 0, negative 2. This becomes a positive 2. This is still a 0, and this is a negative 2. All right, just so I don't get myself messed up here. It's really easy to do that. So we have 1, 0, 0, and then 1 plus 2 is 3. So that's a 3, negative 1, negative 1. All right. So now let's do the other operation. And so let's see, I think I'll just erase some of these. Let me see, let's erase, oops. If I can see if I can just erase the red numbers here. All right, so the zeros will still be 0, but now I'm multiplying by positive 2. So this is a 2, this is negative 2, and this is a positive 2. All right, because now I'm adding 2 times row 3 to the second row. All right, let's do that. So, whoops, change back to green. All right, so 0, 1, 0. Okay, and then I have negative 2 plus negative 2 is a negative 4. 2 plus 0 is 2. Negative 1 plus 2 is a positive 1. All right, and then the third row is all ready to go. So I'm just going to copy it down. 0, 1. Put a bar. And lo and behold, we have a matrix that looks like an identity matrix on the left, and now we have a new matrix on the right, and that is our inverse. So A inverse is equal to 3, negative 1, negative 1, negative 4, 2, 1, negative 1, 0, 1. Alrighty? But it's always a good thing to check. Now, I don't think I'll go through the whole process, but the way to check it, to make sure that you've got the right thing, is just to take A times A inverse. So I could take the original A matrix, which was 2, 1, 1, 3, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and multiply it by 3, negative 1, negative 1, negative 4, 2, 1, negative 1, 0, 1. And if it is truly the inverse, what I will end up with is the identity matrix. Of course, that's not enough. You have to do it both ways. So we have to take A inverse times A. So 3, negative 1, negative 1, negative 4, 2, 1, negative 1, 0, 1. And we'll take it times 2, 1, 1, 3, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And that also should be the identity matrix. 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1. All right, so you can check that for yourself, but it should work. So Phew, that's a process. I tell you, that is a process to go through. In the next video, I'm going to show you a shortcut if you have a 2x2 matrix. So I'll meet you in the next video.